my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. So guys, I'm really excited for today's video. It's gonna be a type of reading vlog, which I'm really excited about. Also, yes, I am in my pajamas, and yes, it is currently 23 minutes past 8 on a Wednesday evening. But guys, today's video is going to be a reading from my March TBR, the highest rated and the lowest rated books according to Goodreads. I saw Sarah do this and I just loved the idea of this, so I thought I would kind of do the same and just out of interest see what was the highest rated book and the lowest rated book. Basically just kind of see my thoughts and opinions based off of it. So I did actually curate a list of, I'm also standing right next to my heater and it's like getting a bit hot. I wrote a list of all of my books that I'm reading for March. Now if you guys haven't watched my March TBR, pause this video, go and watch it, come back here and you'll know the books that I'm reading because I don't want to spoil it. So we have essentially 7 books that were on my TBR. I had a pretty good TBR this month, or I have a pretty good TBR this month, which I'm really excited about. So I then went on to Goodreads and I looked up all of the star ratings and basically picked the highest rated one and the lowest rated ones. Now I was really shocked at the results, so I'm going to take you through all the results and then end up telling you guys what I'm reading. So we have Bunny, which was rated 3.52. Better Than the Movies was rated 4.29. The Inheritance Games was rated 4.17. The Appeal was rated 3.86. Diddly Squat, which for me was the most surprising, I don't know why, 4.16 on Goodreads.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like an overall rating of 4.1. One of the Girls, 3.96, and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, 4.31. So you guys can kind of figure out the average rating. As I said, I thought Diddly Squat was actually going to be rated the lowest out of all of these. Surprisingly not. The lowest rated one was actually Bunny by Mona Awad. Now I was really surprised. I don't know why I was surprised, but to be honest, like, everybody knows Jeremy Clarkson, and especially with his TV show that's come out and the books that he's published, they are really popular. And if you are from the UK, everyone knows who Jeremy Clarkson is. He's a TV icon. Bunny being the lowest rated one. I have started this. I have slightly cheated. I did originally film an intro for this video, but I hated it, so I wanted to kind of refilm one. I have actually started reading this purely because I have started filming this video already. I am currently 95 pages into Bunny. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, to be honest, yet. I don't actually know what's going on, but I will talk a little bit more about that in a little while. But then my highest rated, which for me was surprising, but then again this is kind of like probably a childhood classic for a lot of people, being Percy Jackson and the whole series. I never read Percy Jackson growing up. I was never into kind of fantasy. I never even like read like Divergent or kind of any of those really popular books at that time, but this was the highest rated. So my 2 books for this video are Bunny and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I have wanted to start this series. I'm really excited to dive into it and see what it's all about. I have heard very good things as well, so we shall see. The video basically will just consist of me reading, kind of giving my opinions and my thoughts on the books that I'm currently reading. But yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn on the little post notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to check out my March TBR video, which will also be linked. If you want to do it backwards, the video will be linked in the description box down below. But with that said, let's just jump straight into the video. As I said, I have essentially started Bunny. I'm also buddy reading this with my Kindle because I managed to find it on Kindle Unlimited. It was really good actually, and it's handy because I can switch between the both. I don't really have any thoughts yet. This is a really weird book, And from what I've heard people say, they don't know what's real and what's not, basically. I haven't got to that stage just yet. Essentially, the book kind of follows Samantha, who is our main female protagonist. She attends Warren University, and I think she's doing like an English master's degree or something like that. It is based in America, so I'm not really sure how the kind of school system works over there. She essentially is in a class with kind of these really rich sorority girls, is the best way that I could put it, and they all call each other Bunny, and she basically just kind of like takes the piss out of them until one day she gets an invitation to their kind of like these parties that they have. Their house is essentially called Smut Salon, and they kind of like tell each other really kind of weird and twisted secrets, and there's just this ongoing thing with a bunny rabbit, which I'm not really sure why or how, but as I said, they all call each other Bunny. I'm kind of very confused at the kind of idea of this book, but I've heard that Mona Awood is like this wonderfully kind of talented writer for this type of genre. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep reading. It is about 8:30 now. I'm gonna spend the rest of my night reading to get as much of this read as possible. Keep reading, see what it's about. I kind of keep you updated throughout the book. I did originally start filming this, by the way, just wanted to kind of say, I mentioned in the intro, but there'll be a clip before this bit that was filmed like a couple of days ago, and where I actually did start the book. So yeah, but I'm going to spend the rest of my evening reading. The next day. Just a little bit of a reading update. I haven't read that much. I've read about 50 pages, I think, which is still quite good for a new book. Usually it takes me about 3 weeks just to get to 50 pages. But it is currently 22 minutes past 8 in the morning, and I'm going to drink my cup of tea and read some of my book. I did end up reading mostly on my Kindle last night, purely because when I'm in bed I always just find it a little bit easier to read. Page 51, so I'm going to catch myself up in my physical book. So in the book I'm on page 52, but on Kindle I'm on page 51. Not really sure how that works. I did read the trigger warnings last night, just because when I read a book that I'm really not sure about and I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on, I feel like I do have to kind of research a little bit into it. Obviously spoiler free, because I still want the element of surprise. But from what I've heard people say, like, the trigger warnings, definitely read them. Even I was a bit shocked at the trigger warnings, so I was kind of like, oh, okay. But I feel like it will be okay. But as I said, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna spend maybe an hour or two reading this morning. It's only 26 minutes past 8, so I have a couple of hours to kind of read, chill out. I do have things to do today and I'm not here this evening, so I'm not sure how much I'm gonna get read, but hopefully kind of the rest of this week I will. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep reading. As I said, I'm on page 52, so I'm gonna actually update my Goodreads for this, because who doesn't update their Goodreads? I just keep seeing so many amazing books that people have and I really want to read them all. But I feel like I'm starting to kind of divulge into a whole new genre with books, which is making life a little bit easier. What page am I on? 52. Good evening, everybody. So I thought I would give you guys a little bit of a reading update. I didn't read that much last night, but I am now on page 124, which is chapter 13. I think I'm finally hitting the kind of weird bit. Those last couple of chapters were weird as hell, and I'm really not sure, honestly, how I feel about this book. So I'm gonna read a little bit more. Owen's on his way home. He's still an hour and 12 minutes away, so I've got a while until he's home. I'm gonna sit and see how much of this I can get read. I've been doing my uni assignment all day today, so I haven't read at all. I'm also out for like a little coffee lunch uni assignment kind of like day with one of my friends. I'll be gone most of the day tomorrow, or at least like I think I'm getting there for like 12. We should be able to read in the morning. I'm gonna have a bit of a slow morning because this morning I got up and like got started basically. But yeah, so I'm gonna spend a little while reading and I will keep you guys updated with my thoughts. So it has definitely been a few days later. I haven't vlogged a lot of me reading Bunny purely because I'm just not loving it, to be honest with you guys. I absolutely have no idea what's going on with it. I am kind of just grossed out the whole time. I'm on chapter 20, page 189 on the Kindle. It's chapter 20 in here, but I just, yeah, I'm not loving it, honestly, and I don't know if I am really gonna give it a rating, because at the moment I'm on page 210 in the book and I just can't seem to kind of, I can understand why I don't like it. If anybody has read Bunny, it is very weird. It is definitely a satire. It's very kind of, definitely check the kind of trigger warnings. It's kind of like you just don't know what to believe. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's not. And it's kind of like just constantly playing a mind game with you, and I don't really like those sorts of books. I think when I watched Sarah's review on Bunny, she said that it was like you had to research so much about the book after you'd finished reading it, and I don't like that in a book either, and I don't think she did, hence why she gave it like a really low rating. I think she only gave it like 2 stars, which I don't even think I'm gonna rate it, because honestly I have no idea what's going on. No idea. I'm reading it but I'm like not taking anything in. I can just about kind of give you like a synopsis of the book, but any kind of like big details in, haven't got a clue. So my challenge for the rest of today is to try and finish it, because obviously I need to finish it for this video. This book is overall 373 pages, just under like 200 pages to kind of like finish this, which I think I could do definitely either today or tomorrow. But today is going to be a very chilled out day. I had such a hectic week last week, which is another reason why I didn't get around to really reading a lot of this during the day. I had my uni assignment to write, and that obviously took priority, and I submitted it yesterday, so it's done, dusted. I'm gonna have a chilled out day. I'm gonna kind of like reset my room as well, because it has just gotten out of control. I need to kind of like dust and clean everywhere, change my bed sheets, all that sort of stuff, and then I will finish reading this. But I'm gonna read a little bit this morning. It's only 8:41, so I'm gonna finish reading, well, read a little bit, drink my cup of tea, make some breakfast, have a shower, reset my room, and then probably just spend the rest of the day reading, which is my ideal world. So everyone, so I want to apologise because I think I'm getting ill and I'm not feeling very great, which yay, I hate getting ill, and I think I'm getting a cold, which is just not fun. So I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I wanted to give you guys a reading update. So last you would have seen is I finished reading Bunny, and I've kind of slept on it and processed it a little bit more, and I just think that genuinely wasn't a book for me. I've read it, I've kind of like, you know, I know what it's about, but I think what really put me off was kind of having to do extra research after reading it. So for me that wasn't great fun. However, I'm now reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and I literally sat and binged about 56 pages of it last night, and I'm loving it. I think it's so good. Yes, this is a children's book. It's like a fantasy. Basically we follow, if you are completely unaware like I was before I went into Percy Jackson, obviously so many people know Percy Jackson, they grew up on Percy Jackson, but basically we follow Percy Jackson, who's kind of like this troubled boy, put it this way, and he gets sent to this boarding school called Yancey Academy, and essentially they go on to this like school trip, and he basically slices his teacher in half, and then all of these students basically completely forget or don't even remember having this said teacher, and he's going around like, do you not remember who she was, and all this sort of stuff. And his best friend is essentially trying to like avoid the topic of conversation, so we kind of follow that, and then by the end of the kind of school year he's told that he can't go back to Yancey Academy, which he's really upset about, because he has one of his favourite teachers who's his Latin teacher, I believe, and his best friend Grover, and I just love it. I think it's so cleverly written, it's really fast paced. I didn't, honestly, before starting this video, I genuinely thought I would prefer Bunny over this book, and turns out I'm absolutely loving this. I am on chapter 5. What I love about a children's book is the chapters are titled. So for this one is, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one because I'll butcher that. I like the first chapter. I'll go with the first chapter. Oh, he vaporized. Not slice his teacher in half. Okay, that was probably a little bit dramatic. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. So obviously the language is still very American, which in the sense of like schooling and stuff I think is what I struggle with, and that's what I struggled with in Bunny, because it was like a postgraduate, essentially what in England we'd call like a postgraduate master's program. Pre-algebra we don't have that in the UK. When we sit maths, we just have algebra. We don't have like pre-algebra. So if anybody is from the States, please enlighten me on what pre-algebra. I can kind of get the gist of maybe what it is, but could you please enlighten me and actually tell me what pre-algebra is, because I see it a lot, but I honestly have no clue what it's about. So yeah, so I feel like this could be a series that I actually end up really enjoying. So I'm gonna spend my morning basically just reading this. I'm gonna try and get this read in like a couple of days, hopefully. The only unfortunate thing is that it's not on my Kindle, so I can't just kind of like pick it up. As I said, I'm gonna spend the rest of my morning reading this. Obviously, I won't finish it. I'm on page 57. As long as I can sort of get to at least a page like 100 or something, that would be great. My voice keeps going, so it's obviously a cue for me to stop talking. I've got my cup of tea. I will make breakfast in a little while. I don't know what the time is exactly. It's 8:52. Yeah. 8:52, so I'm probably gonna read for the next couple of hours and we will see where that takes me. Hello everyone. So I feel like this video honestly is just all over the place, and sincere apologies for that, because for some reason it's taken me so much longer to read these books than I thought. It usually does take me to read like a book a week, I'd say. However, I thought I'd give you guys a little reading update. I am very close to finishing Percy Jackson. I'm on page 228 and there are 375 pages. So I'm hoping that either today or tomorrow I will finish this book. I'm well over halfway. So I feel like I will get this done in the next couple of days, which means that this video will be finished. However, I'm really enjoying this book. I'm loving it. It's just one of those books that I was nervous going into it because I didn't know what to expect. If it's a children's book that was so popular, I feel like you just can't go wrong. I'm really enjoying it, and everybody that I've spoken to and said, and like I say that I'm reading this book, they're like, oh my god, this is such a good book, so worth a read. Like, I'm loving every single minute of this book. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of my morning reading this. I've just read a couple of pages just now, but I thought I'd pick up the camera because I feel like I haven't filmed a lot of this one, where I filmed quite a lot of Bunny, but I have added Bunny into my reading journal, so it's kind of like set in stone now. I have kind of like had the chance to kind of properly reflect and review over Bunny, which I will kind of talk about at the end of the video and kind of give like my final ratings on everything to see in comparison to what it was with the Goodreads rating, so we'll see about that. However, today I do have a few things I need to get done. I have got a to-do list to kind of do. Most of it is social media, so I am going to, as I said, read a little bit now. And say that I have finally finished reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I think I'm actually going to rate it really highly and rate it like 4.5 or 4.75. I will think about it just a little bit longer, and it might even bump up to 5 stars, to be honest, because I just loved it. The whole time I was reading it, there wasn't a part of me that was like, oh, I just want to get to the end. Like, I obviously wanted to kind of find out what was going to happen, but I just felt this sense of like excitement constantly reading it. And it's not a very long book, it's not even 400 pages, so in terms of length it wasn't like a long tedious read. It was very quick, very easy. It's obviously YA, so it's kind of got that writing to kind of keep your attention, and I just loved it. The world building, the characters, the kind of Greek mythology kind of incorporated into it all. Like, I just loved this book so much. Quite honestly, I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did. So for me, I have to say, out of these two, Percy Jackson was definitely my favourite. I can understand now the kind of rating for it, so that's why Percy Jackson was obviously kind of the more favourite. I posted a review on Instagram of Bunny. If you guys want to go check it out, then the link to my Instagram will be in the description box down below. But I posted a review of Bunny on my Instagram, and with careful consideration, I didn't hate this book as I kind of initially said I did. I was just so confused as to what was happening throughout the book. I didn't know what to believe. I think the fact that I had to do quite a lot of research after finishing the book just felt like an extra chore and should have been kind of stated in the book. I want a book that I can grasp kind of straight away. I don't want something to kind of be strenuous in the sense that I'm trying to constantly keep guessing what's going on. What I loved about Percy Jackson was, now don't get me wrong, these are two very, very different books. I feel like you honestly could not get further away from types of genre with these two books, which is why I think these two books have made a really, really great video. For me, these two books were honestly like opposite ends of the kind of spectrum, and I loved them. Obviously prefer Percy Jackson, but I still loved reading that comparison between an adult kind of horror satire novel compared to a kind of more light-hearted fantasy action-packed Greek mythology kind of book all together. And I think Percy Jackson just executed that so well for me. Everything I love in a book was put in Percy Jackson, but then Bunny taught me the kind of satirical writing that a writer can use in order to make a really good story. And with doing further research and kind of further analysing the text of what was written in here, I felt like it kind of gave me that sense of, there were topics discussed in there that I think are really, really important to discuss. Like, there was obviously kind of mental health issues discussed in this, and I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video that if you are going into Bunny, please read the trigger warnings, because there is a lot that goes on in here and kind of stuff that I've never read before, I've never seen kind of executed in a book before. But I think Mona Awad actually did it so well that I almost want to go back for more. I think after careful consideration, I will go into her next book, which is 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl, which I haven't really heard anybody talk about. I feel like when an author goes really, really viral on kind of like social media, it's only ever like one book that goes really viral, and I think for Mona that was obviously Bunny. But I'm gonna look into her other book and see if she has got any other books. All I know of is the second book, which is on the back of this one. I don't think this is connected to this book at all, but I think overall I'm gonna rate it a 2.5. Not my worst book that I've ever read, for sure. I think afterwards I was just a little bit kind of blindsided to people's kind of critique on this book, and saying that for some people they don't like researching after a book, they want all the information in a book at one time. They kind of want to finish a book, open another book without kind of thinking about the book any longer. But for me, I felt like this was, it almost reminded me of kind of being back in high school English lessons and like really analysing the text. I know in school like a lot of texts were over-analysed, but I feel like this was kind of the thing that you did have to analyse afterwards. So I think in that sense, that's almost the part that made me really think about the book again and kind of think, okay, well, what did I like about it? What didn't I like about it? And I think Mona Awad has got such a unique kind of format for her books that, as I said, it actually makes me want to go back for more. So overall, I actually didn't hate this book as much as I thought I was going to, which is great. I can understand the kind of lower rating on Goodreads, with it being, I think it's a 3.86 or something. I'll definitely be keeping this one on my shelf, I think, and potentially recommending it to people who want a bit of a kind of book that makes you think. That's that sort of book. Percy Jackson, I think I'm gonna end up rating it 4.5, 4.75. It could even go up to a 5-star, which means that I have found my first 5-star read of the year. I did do a reread of The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse, and that was a 5-star for me, but I didn't count that as my kind of first 5-star of the year. But this could be it. But if you guys want to see more of an in-depth review on this, then I will have that up on my Instagram. But overall, Percy Jackson just had everything in it. I'm so excited to read the rest of the series, and I did a lot of research last night, and turns out there's like 5 or 6 other series that kind of all interrelate with each other. So I'm definitely gonna get my hands on these, finish Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I think that's kind of the name of this series. I loved it. I love Rick Riordan's writing. I think it's just fast paced. Percy Jackson as a character, I love him. I think he's great. And also kind of all the other characters that were introduced throughout the book. And it being Greek mythology, I also loved. So overall, I loved filming this video. I think it was so much fun to kind of read my highest and lowest rated. So if you guys would like me to do more of these types of videos throughout the year, then please do let me know your thoughts. If you guys have read any of these 2 books, then also please let me know your thoughts. I'd love to have a little book chat in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn on the little post notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys.